What's up, y'all? I'm back. It's a beautiful day. Hope all is well to everyone out there. I'm back with continuing the vlog series that I told you that I would be doing over the next course of a few days, or I actually said either the course of the day, but it's been a course of a couple days or whatever. But yeah, about my influences and my inspirations. The last one was about my mom. This one, I'm gonna tell you another early influence of mine, and maybe even if I have enough time, go into my influences from music and shit like that. So let's get into it. So my next early influence that I remember would have to be my cousin P. And a lot of dudes from my city know who he is or whatever, good, bad, or indifferent. One way or the other, that was one of my earliest influences, second to my mother. Thing about P, due to the way he was moving around and how he acquired his bread, afforded him the luxury of being able to buy things that most people in my city that wasn't moving around like him or at the capacity in which he was moving could buy. So he was showing me things and putting me onto things, whether he was doing it intentionally or just being himself. But again, him being able to have as much money as he did opened up a vast, how could I put this? Like, there was no cap, you know what I mean, to what he could buy when it came to fashion. When it came to anything, really, but we're talking about fashion. So, like I was telling you, that my mom was my early influence. Back then, we were so broke that my mom, plus we were all wearing baggy clothes and shit back then. We were so broke that my mom would go to thrift stores and actually buy men's clothes for herself so that we could share them. So I was actually running around in middle school in clothes that my mom bought for the both of us. You feel me? So when P came into the picture, P started dropping off loads of clothes and allowing me and my little cousin, which is his little brother, to go to his apartments and shit like that, or he'd come to the hood and just drop off huge totes of sneakers and clothes and all that. So that shit just started opening up my brand palette. And I started getting put on to different brands and different things along those lines or whatever. And that shit got lit. When I say lit, lit. And even though it's crazy because you would think that I would have been influenced by how he was getting his money. And like I said before, or maybe I didn't say, I found how to get money in a different way other than him. You would think that he would have been the greatest inspiration or influence in that way because he was so good at what he was doing. But I was so allured by what he acquired from the bread that's what became my passion, and that's what I became attracted to. So like I said, like staying in his apartments and just going through all his clothes. I mean, like even down to how everything was, like how it was, the presentation of how it was, like seeing how his clothes were in the closet, like which a lot of people didn't have that luxury of seeing, but seeing how his clothes were in his closet and seeing how his sneakers were in his closet. Because I used to get mad sneakers and shit and just line them all across my dresser. My mom would come in tripping over sneakers and shit, and I would just have them lined up going all the way across my dresser. Like, and that changed once he came into my life. You know what I mean? Like, once he came into my life and I was able to see how he moved, that's when I started keeping my sneakers in boxes and stacking them up. And I wanted to make sure all my clothes were all in my little closet and how they were packed. And I remember it would take a long time for me to get rid of something because I just wanted to have so much clothes. Like, you know what I mean? But that happened in middle school. Like, I was wearing Gore-Tex boots and foam posits and Jordans and all that shit in middle school, bro. Middle school. And then high school came, and by that point I was already getting a little money in conjunction with him dropping off shit. And that just opened up even more for me. Like, even more. Like, when I say I was going to school fly, I was going to school fly. And anybody that knows me knows that that I took that shit serious. Me and my man Nelly. We took pride in the way we looked. I think I probably went to the mall more than I went to class, to be honest. And to be honest, like in high school, there was only one other person that I can honestly say that I felt what rivaled us, you know what I mean? Rivaled me and my man. Obviously, me and him were in competition, but we played for the same team. So at the same time, him getting what he was getting didn't necessarily go like he wasn't a direct competition. That was like some brother shit, like, oh, where you went to the mall without me type shit. But there was another nigga that went to school with us, Eric Barnett. Shout outs to him. That everyone would bring to our attention, make sure that he was on our radar. Like, oh, you see what Eric's wearing today? And that actually became my man after a while. Like, he actually became my man, like, outside of school. That dude became my dude. We're actually born on the same day. Shout outs to him. Which actually is made more sense on why he was so into what he was into and why we had, like, some of the same interests. But, yeah, shout outs to Eric. He can't touch me, though. He couldn't touch me. And the reason being is because he was one-dimensional with the way he dressed. This nigga only went to Scalacci's and only went to Rec Shop. Nigga, when I said I did this fashion shit, nigga, I was shopping everywhere, putting together shit. I remember I came to school in a metallic silver vest with metallic silver uptowns. Like, you know what I mean? I had jumpsuits that the people that work on the streets wear. You know what I mean? I had crazy clothes that you'd see in, like, that stylists would put on artists to make them stand out in videos that people didn't even know that they could wear. You know what I mean? Or were scared to wear. That wasn't me and my man. Like, we got busy. We got busy. I even, as I got older, I remember dating a girl that I would tell her, like, she'd be like, what do you want? I'd be like, sneakers. I just kept saying it. Sneakers. All I want sneakers. I'd be coming home from school and there'd be new sneakers. She was older than me, so it worked out. But I would come home and there'd be sneakers on my bed, brand new. So Eric would have to wait till he got his check, because a lot of niggas didn't know this, and I didn't know this until he became my man. But that nigga had an older cousin in his house that was putting him on, just like I had an older cousin outside of school that was putting me on. Feel me? So we both had the same thing, you know what I mean? And Nelly actually had a nigga from his block that was getting money in Plainfield that came from the city that was putting him on. So, like, we all had different influences, and then turned it into our own thing. You know what I mean? And Eric had a job. I didn't have a job. He actually got me my first job. Shout outs to him again. He actually got me my first job or whatever. But I remember, like, that clothes shit was so serious. And now I could let the cat out the bag. My fashion sense and taste was so superb and so next level that there were dudes that wouldn't talk to me in school, but would get my number and talk to me outside of school and come to my house to buy clothes from my closet and then go to school as if it's theirs. And these are dudes that run around in the city right now that are known as fresh guys or whatever, and sell clothes too at that. These niggas was buying clothes off of your boy. So just to show you how ill in the head I was, you know, and I got all the pictures to prove it. And my drip is still serious. You still need a cup, you know what I mean, to stand behind me to catch all the drip, you know what I mean? Right now I'm in my pajamas and shit, but yeah, that fashion shit was serious, you know what I mean? Like, and shout out to my cousin P. Like I said, man, he was a big influence on me when it came to that. And, you know, I became electromagnetic through that self-expression, being able to express myself through what I wore. That shit was so ill, man. It was beautiful. I remember, it's crazy, like, going back to these times. Like, I remember, like, not only was he influential in the sense of how he put his clothes together and what he was buying, and what made me pay more attention to him was how he went about certain things. Like, he moved around like a boss. I don't even know how old he was then. I know I was little as fuck, but he moved around so ill that I remember I could go anywhere in the city. It didn't even matter if I went out of state. Me and my little cousin could be at any girl's house anywhere, and this nigga had drivers. This nigga would send drivers to come pick us up. So this is how I was raised. I was raised with this taste and this sense of entitlement, because this nigga moved around like a boss, man. You know what I mean? And without him, I probably wouldn't have been able to hold on to fashion the way that I ended up holding on to it. I told him he ruined my life when he got out, and shit. I was like, nigga, you know, you the one who ruined my life, because he didn't ruin my life really, but I'm saying, like, it's hard for me to walk by some shit that I like. You know what I mean? It took for me to have a bunch of children for me to be like, you know what, that's gonna have to wait. You know what I mean? Cause like I was buying every and anything that I knew was next level. You know what I mean? And that's all because of him. You know what I mean? So like I said, like the whole point of this particular segment of vlogs that I'm about to do is to give flowers to the brothers and sisters that are here still, and not wait for them to transition for them to get them. You know what I mean? So shout outs to my cousin P. I love you, bro. I appreciate you. Shout outs to Eric. Shout outs to my brother Nelly. And shout outs to my band of brothers. Peace.